Hi. So I guess I probably should have started with making one of these. But my name is Caleb. I am 22 years old and I live in my self-converted minivan, Dodge 2012 Dodge Grand Caravan. When I first got this van, it was maybe March of this year, and at the time I was living in my apartment, and I already have a car. I currently drive a 2020 Chevy Spark. Uh, so I make monthly payments on that already. So having this van plus my car and an apartment was starting to get really financially draining because uh, for work I'm just a paid a little over minimum wage security guard here in Ohio. Uh, Unlike a lot of van lifers, I did not decide to sell all of my things or like most of my things. So what I did was I moved all of it into storage except for the stuff that's currently in here, and I decided to just jump right in. My biggest issue was uh, making the van livable as quickly as possible. So with the bed, I designed the concept, I planned it out, but of course, when you have like a low income situation, it's kind of hard to put a van together super quickly because my lease was ending in May, and no, it was the 1st of June, and I had gotten the van in March. So that only left me with two, yeah, 2 full months to make it as livable as possible. First thing I started with doing was I built the bed. And after that, it was kind of just like a stalemate. Like I didn't know what to do next, what I could do next. Uh, so I had the bed. I used my futon mattress that I already had in my apartment, and I knew that I wanted to get rid of the passenger seat. That was something I wanted to do. So I started the process of trying to do that. But unfortunately, the tools that you need to remove that is like hard to find, or like it's hard to go and search what tool I need to remove this passenger seat because not that many people remove the passenger seats from their vehicles. And for some reason in Dodge Grand Caravans, and I think like some of their other Dodge vehicles, it's like something bolted underneath the vehicle. So unfortunately, it like it was going to cost money to do that. So I had to wait a while. But when I did finally get it done, it's kind of disappointing because the way the car shop removed it was like they still left the frame of the passenger seat, which I guess I wasn't clear enough about wanting all of it gone. Like the seat is gone, but the frame still remains. But when May came along, all I had in here was the bed. Uh, yeah, I had the bed. I had my Jackery 1000 Explorer and a folding solar panel, and that was it. And I also had fans in here, but other than that, everything else was not in here yet. So I learned really quick that it was going to be next to impossible to survive in here in the winter, not the winter, the summer, without the roof vent fan. So I wasted no time getting it's not a fantastic fan or a max air fan, it's just whatever random one I found on Amazon. So I quickly decided, okay, I'm gonna cut a hole in the roof, just gonna rip off the band-aid and get it done. So it was kind of it was eerie, of course, because I did mess it up. So if you look closely, I did mess up cutting that headliner. So I cut it too far. It was kind of difficult to tell where exactly the like framing went because it's kind of like sideways. Like it's not perfectly straight. It's like it goes off to the side a bit. So I had to cut the headliner again further forward and then cut the hole. So after doing that and getting the fan in there, it made the summer a lot more bearable. Ever since, I've just been adding on more and more like miscellaneous items that like I didn't need to survive, but more like comfort items. I built a hardwood floor for the van. I got a TV set up in here as well, and a 3-level organizer. I'll be showing all of these again in my next van tour, which will probably happen at the beginning of January. But yeah, that brings us to the winter. So as you saw in the last video, how I stay warm in here, it was definitely something that I knew I had to take care of quickly, because at first it was like getting kind of cold, but not super cold at the beginning of the fall at night. So I was not worried about it too much until I was like sleeping and my feet were just freezing and I was super uncomfortable. My nose was cold, but like I was able to sleep through the night. But now with it being like below 30 at night, it became a bigger priority for me to make sure that I had heat. So yeah. Other things about myself not relating to the van. I served in the military. I'm a musician. I have a lot of tattoos. I love tattoos. Plan on getting more. Pretty boring, I guess. I love reading. I try to play video games, but I get motion sick, so it's like it's hard for me to play some games, but I can play a little bit of them. My next steps for this van and the future in general, I do really want to try and sell off some of the things that are taking up space in my storage unit, because I have a lot in there that I don't think I'll ever use again. So it'll be good to just unburden myself from those things. So I will either sell or donate those. I'm gonna try to lower my monthly spending rate, because I do spend a lot of money on a lot of frivolous things that I look back and I'm just like, I can't believe I spent that much money on that. So I will try to work on reducing that so I can eventually get a bigger van in the future, or maybe a trailer. I haven't really decided which would be best, because I know traveling with the trailer is a lot more difficult than just being stationary with the trailer. Because right now I just stay in my van across the street from my mom's place, which makes my life a lot easier. So it's always in sleep mode, I guess. And last but not least, I do not consider myself homeless. I am just an outside of the box thinker, and this is my home. It's my tiny home on wheels. So I will see you guys next Monday for the next one. Bye. So let's start with why I decided to do this. After years and years of doing YouTube research, going down the rabbit hole of watching van life vlogs and stuff like that, I finally decided in January that this is something I wanted to do. And I knew that the only way for me to accomplish that was going to just jump right in and just rip off the Band-Aid. So first things first, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to afford like a giant Mercedes Sprinter van or like a Ram ProMaster. So what I decided to do was look for an average low roof cargo van. And As you can see, that's not what I ended up in, because it was just not going to work for like my credit score and price range. So after maybe a couple months of failing to find exactly what I wanted or the next best thing, I decided it was time for me to choose a minivan instead. Because minivans, they're not like as spacious as a cargo van is, but they're pretty similar. What I wanted at first was going to be a Ram ProMaster 3500 extended 159 extended wheelbase, the full thing, because I am 6'1" and like a low roof. It's like I'd rather be in something like this where I can't stand up at all, instead of a low roof van where you can stand up, but like, your head's dragging against the ceiling. Because especially when you lose a few inches with the subfloor and then the ceiling, and then it's like, where do you compromise? Actually, that's not the end. I forgot to mention that I went to college for 2 years. I realized that it wasn't for me. I have a bad habit of enjoying the party side of college more than I do the academic part. Like, I love school. I really do. I love academic stuff. But when it came to college level courses, it was like I was succeeding in all the things that interest me. But when it came to like really like buckling down in math and science, it just wasn't really working out. So I left and decided to pursue my dreams of YouTube, which in another video I will get down to why it is I decided to do all this in the first place.